Good morning, App Properties. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Amy Core, and I've got Kevin Van Eck with me live out of the Goose Island office. And we are not here this morning for coffee with Amy and Kevin. We are actually here for Fire It Up Friday. That's right. We want to help you fire it up this Friday to get ready for a great weekend. So let's make sure that we are ready to rock and roll. So Kevin, what do we have for everyone?
Well, just because it's not coffee with Amy and Kevin doesn't mean we don't have the coffee. So first, make sure you have your coffee. But today we're going to talk about four things. We're going to talk about four things specifically. And the first one is really what we want you to do this weekend.
That's right, Kevin. We want all of you to show us your Saturday. Again, show us your Saturday. We know you're busy. You're showing, you're touring with your buyers. You're hopefully writing or receiving an offer this weekend. We'd love for you to post and tag Coffee with Amy and Kevin on your Instagram. We want you to show us your Saturday. Show us what you've got going on. We know you guys are all working super hard, and we want to be able to see it, repost it, and just celebrate it with you. If you don't follow us already, make sure you do and tag us so we can share your hard work and success, all of the success that you are bringing to your clients.
Yeah, so now let's talk about the three things that you can do to really be competitive in this market, to elevate yourself as a broker in this market, creating success for your clients. Because we know that there's a lack of inventory, there are multiple offers, we're hearing all these stories, and we know that there are buyers missing out on properties. So we're going to talk through whether you're a listing agent or you're representing a buyer, how you can be prepared. So let's start with number one.
Yeah, thanks, Kev. Number one is making sure that you've got all of your resources at the ready. And what do I mean by that? It is really busy out there, you guys. I know you're all feeling it right now. Make sure that you've got your lenders, your attorneys, and all of your vendors teed up and ready to go. If you're taking buyers out this weekend, make sure you've already talked with their lender. Make sure you've got a pre-approval ready to go. Also, make sure that you talk with that lender and that they are going to be available over the weekend in the event something changes or you need something redrafted. It should be really easy for them to get you a pre-approval. But it's really competitive out there right now, so you want to make sure that you've got them ready to go with their lending situation. You don't want to waste any time when you're trying to submit an offer. You also want to make sure that you've got an attorney lined up and ready to go, because if you get something under contract, you want to have already had the conversation with your buyer as to who will be representing them so that you don't delay any time when you get into attorney review. If you negotiate terms this weekend, you want to be ready to rock and roll on Monday. So start thinking now about the attorney that you may be using if you've got active buyers that you're working with. Third thing about being ready with your resources are your vendors. I've been hearing a lot of things over the last couple of weeks with agents that people are busy in real estate. And it's not just us brokers, but it's all the vendors that we work with. We've had some people having issues getting inspectors ready to go within the 5-day period. They've had some issues getting contractors, electricians kind of in a timely manner because everyone's busy out there. So take it now and think about it right now and make sure you've got your vendors in your back pocket. And also make sure that you've got 2 or 3 levels deep. So if an inspector that you normally use isn't available, who's your backup plan? And if they're not available, who's that next backup plan? If you start thinking about it now, you're going to be in a much better position when you do start putting people under contract. And that's not just for your buyers, but that's for your sellers as well. So think about your resources and have them ready to go. It's a busy market and you need to be set. Kevin, tell us about number 2.
Yes, number 2 is the agent app. And we talk about the agent app a lot, but there's a reason for it. It is the best way to stay ahead of the market for your buyers and sellers. So what we have to do, we have to post our buyers into the property needed loop in the agent app. That's where you're going to post what your buyers' needs are. You have to post about your listings directly from the DMS into the agent app. It couldn't be easier. Directly from the property folder in the DMS post in. And when I say we have to do it, we have to do it because we want to create success for our clients. And if we don't do it, we are not doing everything we possibly can to create that success. So please post your buyers into the property needed loop, post your listings directly from the DMS straight into the agent app, and you will create success. And in fact, when we talk about creating success over the last 2 weeks, we've heard that 4 contracts have come together through the agent app, and those are just the ones that we heard. So we know there are other deals and transactions happening through the agent app. You don't want to miss out on creating that success for your clients. So On to number 3.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So critical. Let's talk a little bit about escalation clauses. These are a tool that you can use right now in navigating negotiations, but it's also important to know how to use them when the timing is right. And so a couple things to think about, and this is important whether you're representing a buyer or a seller. If you want to use an escalation clause with your buyer, it's really important to engage the listing agent and make sure that the seller will entertain them. I've had buyer's brokers who represented their client and put an escalation clause in, and the seller wouldn't even consider it. So make sure you're having that proper communication, because an escalation clause can be a great way to position your buyer for success. But if the other side and the seller and the seller's agent don't really understand the escalation clause, don't feel comfortable with it, it may actually not work in your favor. So make sure that if you're going to use one, you really communicate with the other side and make sure that it's going to be able to be a benefit to your buyer. The other thing is, if you don't know about an escalation clause and you've got a buyer and you want to learn more, especially if you're in a competitive situation or a multiple offer situation, reach out to your managing broker. We've all worked with our agents on how to use the escalation clause effectively. We also have a copy of the escalation clause addendum attached here in this email. So feel free to check it out and let us know, of course, if you've got any questions. If you're representing a seller and you receive an escalation clause from a buyer's broker, here's the thing. It isn't always a negative. Sometimes as a listing broker, we don't love to see the escalation clause. It's not unethical. It is oftentimes used in a competitive market, and it shouldn't be confusing. So again, if you've got questions and you're representing a seller and you receive an escalation clause, reach out to your managing broker and work through it with them on how best to navigate it. It actually, if used in the right way, can actually be a great benefit to your seller. You can end up getting really great terms for your seller in a competitive situation. But most important, know that it's out there, know that people are going to be using it as this market is busy, and make sure you understand it and know how to use it effectively.
Yeah, we hope these 3 tips are really helpful this weekend. So play it again, listen to it, take notes, and look at the email down below and all the links and the resources that we provided for you. So it's day 5 of the 60 days of summer. We've wrapped it up with Fired Up Friday. We start again Monday, but don't forget, over the weekend, tomorrow, show us your Saturday. Tag us in your posts and in your stories on Instagram, and we'll see you Monday.
Make it a great weekend, you guys.